Welcome to Not Just a Transaction, the podcast series hosted by experienced real estate authorities Nick Fontaine and Zachary Beach. Each week, the hosts bring you expert guests to help you navigate the many creative options available for buying or selling a home, while cutting out the costly hurdles of a conventional real estate deal. Good afternoon and welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Not Just a Transaction. I'm your host, Nick Prefontaine. Along with me, my co-host has graced us with his presence today. That's Zachary Beach.
You know it.
Welcome, Zach. And today's just going to be us. There's no guests coming on, and these are some of my favorite episodes that we record. And I'm sure for the listeners, they feel the same way. Now, one of the things that we're going to be doing is revisiting a past topic that we recorded almost a year ago now, and things have changed significantly within the past 10 months or so, or the past year. And that's, how does forbearance and COVID-19 affect both buyers and sellers? Now, with that, it's been all over the news. There's been a moratorium, kind of a pause on mortgage payments. And people have been sitting in homes now for a year, in some cases, without making any payments on their mortgage. When it comes to tenants that are in these homes, if you're a landlord out there, you know this. Tenants out there, you have, or landlords out there, you have tenants that are taking advantage of the system right now and milking it for all it's worth, meaning they haven't paid a rent payment in a year, sometimes even longer for some states and some properties. So, Zach, do you want to dive into that from the seller perspective and put your little seller cap on and talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I understand that we've all gone through an unfortunate situation, something in which none of us would have ever been able to predict. And we understand that there was a lot of people that unfortunately were affected by it and were legitimately affected by it. And then, of course, our government stepped in and created some overall laws and or systems and processes to help everybody, whether they were affected or not, kind of navigate this situation. And it's unfortunate that sellers have been affected in two different ways. One, Nick, as you said, as being a homeowner, you are affected by, if you lost your job, you were affected. So they put a moratorium on your payments. So you did not have to make those payments, your monthly payments, so that way you could get some breathing room, which was a great idea from the government, especially if you were affected. But unfortunately, not every single mortgage lender or bank is allowing you to move those arrears to the back end. It's only select mortgages. So whether or not you now have been able to get back on your feet, there is a ticking time bomb. There is a clock that is ticking right now before you have to come up with a large lump sum. And I know that a lot of people would say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and try to refi. Well, when you have a break in employment and you have a ding in your credit, it's going to be very unlikely you're going to be able to refinance this property as well to change that payment and to change that lump sum that is due. So there's one, and I'm going to talk about a solution in which we have for that. And then secondly, let's say that you're a real estate investor, primarily a landlord, and we're in the exact same standpoint. We've been affected this as well. So I feel your pain, where there's been a moratorium on rental payments. So now you're caught holding the bag. You're sitting there and you have to make your mortgage payment in order to keep your credit up. And you have a tenant in the property which is not making any payments and is not leaving the property. So now you just got caught holding the bag. Well, fortunately, a lot of this is coming to an end when it comes to being a landlord. Some states are already handling these evictions, and others are getting close to handling these evictions. I know that I was speaking to a top person in the state of Massachusetts that works close with the governor, and they said they were not going to start full eviction processes until at least 70% of that state was vaccinated. And I believe we're getting close to a point in which that's to be the case. So I'd expect things to start opening up based on what we're seeing. So there's two solutions that we can provide. Let's go back to you being the homeowner. Well, you being the homeowner, we have the ability at this point in time to be able to come in and purchase your property and catch you up on arrears and to help you save your credit from further damage and protect some of that equity in which you have built in your property. I know that there's a lot of sellers out there that spend a lot of time paying down their mortgage so that one day when they sell it, they can access that equity. And unfortunately, that happened has now affected that game plan. So we want to be able to help you protect some of that equity in which you have in your property. So if you find yourself in this situation, we can absolutely help by examining every single detail of the property. Would love to speak to you in person over the phone. And that would be in a great place to contact us for both of these is going to be prepropertysolutions.com/podcast. Just fill out that contact us form. There's no need to be ashamed. There's so many people, I believe just in the state of Texas, just because it's such a large number, is somewhere north of 7 million people that are in this situation. Nick's doing, wow. I know, right? It's insane. Nick, let me just hit on this one last thing and toss it back to you. And secondly, if you're a landlord, I understand that you came into this business. More than likely, you came into this type of business because you wanted to create some wealth moving forward. And you wanted to create cash flow, maybe for a day in a retirement or to create a better lifestyle. And I know that having a moratorium in this situation probably made you a tired landlord a heck of a lot quicker than most others that lived in a different time. We also have plenty of solutions where we can help you continue to get some cash flow on the property and eliminate the tenants' toilets and trash. Eliminate the headaches that come with owning real estate. So those are the two main things that I will hit on in this episode that people are affected in COVID, and I'm sure there's many others. But Nick, right back on over to you.
Thanks, Zach. Well, I'm going to put on my buyer hat because I specialize in working with all the buyers. Once again, for those of you that are new listeners to the show. All right. So how it's affecting buyers that are out there. Now, this is a little known thing, or it's just not talked about in the media, but I understand that people got hurt and people lost their jobs and had a gap in employment and everything. However, there's a portion of the market and the portion of all buyers out there that are, if anything, they're maintaining their job and their incomes from pre-COVID that are not affected, or they're thriving right now. So there are those buyers out there that do make great incomes, do have a good nest egg set aside for a down payment. They just can't get a loan for whatever reason today. So those are the types of people that we're looking to help. And we actually, Zach, just met with another great couple yesterday. They're a very hardworking family. They have 4 kids and just bought a franchise. Just bought a franchise. And previously, the reason they were able to do that was they sold a franchise for more money than what they bought it for. So there are things happening right now in the market. And I know COVID is a big thing, and it was a health crisis and is a health crisis, and it's winding down. But that doesn't mean everyone was negatively affected. So I just wanted to talk about that because I think there are people out there that are still looking for an option to buy. They might not be mortgage ready right now, but they're still looking for a way that they can buy, and we can be a great solution to them.
Yeah, Nick, we have, and you have more details on this, but over the past 12 months, how many buyers have gotten to the finish line that were originally in our properties?
Oh gosh, you're gonna quiz me. I didn't come prepared with a stat sheet, but
It
I'm
was at least
thinking
8. Let's just say, would I be wrong if I said about 8 to 12 people have gone and got their own loan?
I was gonna say 8 to 10 at the least. So yeah,
Okay.
that's an accurate number within the past year. So these buyers that we decided to work with pre-COVID, uh, they're still getting to the finish line, and the reason they're still getting to the finish line is not necessarily anything to do with COVID. I'm not talking making a political statement or anything like that, but and I've talked about it, and Zach and I have talked about it in the past, we do a lot of heavy vetting and heavy pre-qualifying up front, so that if God forbid something happens and you have a hiccup in your life, you're still going to be able to support, afford, and run the home exactly like it was your own. So that's one of the reasons that why we see our buyers that we've done deals with 2, 3, even 4 years ago get to the point where they're ready to get their own loans. So that's a pretty exciting thing for those buyers out there that are thinking that they might get involved. They're not sure if they're going to get involved in the market, but they would be looking to buy, but they're just not sure they should pull the trigger and get involved. Get involved with us, because we're going to get you to the finish line.
Yeah, and I just got one final comment about sitting on the sidelines right now, even though you've like a buyer getting involved in purchasing a property. Although we're all really unclear about what the market's going to do in the next 1, 2, 3, 5 years, with the amount of properties that are currently on the market and the quote unquote housing shortage about what's going on right now, it's very unlikely that the market is going to go down, at least in the next, say, 2 to 5 years. Now, with that being said, if you're looking to purchase a property, it's more than likely you're going to be walking into a good portion of equity if you're locking in your price today through one of our programs. So that's going to put you in better position when we talk about getting some wealth generation, right? Building wealth for your family and starting off with your first home. So just wanted to throw that out there as we're rounding the back end of this podcast.
Yeah, and a thought on that, as you mentioned, that there have these deals where these buyers are getting their own loan. As we said, there's probably been 8 to 10 or 8 to 12 over the past year. They're all, when it gets to the end and they're getting their own loan, they're all stepping into equity, or the majority of them are stepping into equity where they close on it. And then if they wait a few months, they're able to refinance and capture that, and or just continue on with their life and build that nice nest egg. The reason that is the case is all of our properties are priced competitively based on today's sales. So they're not based $200,000 higher. What values are going to be in 5 years? They're based off today's prices. So there's a huge opportunity for you buyers out there to buy any one of our homes, because you're locking in your price. And then over the course of your term, what we've seen, at least, you're maintaining, if not improving, your property. And then when it gets to the end, we're seeing in our experience, our buyers walk into equity, which is pretty exciting, Zach.
Yeah, I love it. So Nick, you talked a lot about how these buyers are going to be able to benefit if somebody's listening right now. How can they get involved?
Yeah, if you're interested, if what I said has piqued your interest at all, head on over to our website. That's prepropertysolutions.com. That's PRE, property with a Y, solutions with an S at the end.com, prepropertysolutions.com. Make sure you watch the video that we have right on the homepage. That goes over how our rent-to-own program works. And if it is something that you're looking to do, first check out all the available properties that we have, and we expect to get more in the coming weeks and months. And then make sure you register for our new property updates, and we look forward to getting you into a home real soon.
Love it. So that has been another fantastic episode, Nick. Air high five. Another fantastic episode. Everybody, I hope you're enjoying it. Please, if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to these amazing two voices, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and comment, and we'll be happy to answer any and all questions that you have going on. But please write us a review, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Make it a great week. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not Just a Transaction. If you want to learn more on selling a home, buying a home, or resources to learn more, head on over to our website at originalre.com.